and do that.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
What's up, everybody? I'm Fu.
And I'm Main One, and we're Unplugged Free Your Mind, a show where we discuss and share our perspectives on an array of topics and world news from an unfiltered, unbiased, and unplugged point of view. Welcome back to another week of Unplugged, everybody.
And we have a special guest on. He's not really, we're gonna do our thing, but he on to give his input until we get to the nuts and bolts of the show. But it's a young man by the name of Brandon Outlaw, who is beyond knowledgeable about what we're gonna be talking about. How you doing, Tanya? And what I want everybody to do right now, first and foremost, in the comments, put the city and state where you are. Second, like, share, subscribe. Period. Everywhere. We gotta blast this video. No joke, because tonight gonna change some people's lives. Like, seriously. So get ready, get prepared. Brandon, if you want to, even though we're not gonna go into it now since you're on the screen, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of touch on what you're going to be talking about before we start getting into the question and the answer thing.
Okay. First off, I want to thank y'all gentlemen for having me on tonight. My name is Brandon Outlaw. Everybody just calls me Outlaw. Easy to remember. I'm going to be discussing a concept that has been around for several hundreds of years. So I'm not reinventing the wheel. This is nothing new, but this is a tool and a vehicle that, when properly used, can help you to recover a lot of the money that you're spending in interest on loans, recapture that money and recycle it within the family, and also pass down wealth to your next generation without paying taxes. And so once you hear about it, you'll understand the vehicle, but it's all about how the vehicle is structured. Not a lot of people structure them this way, and a lot of people just don't know to ask to get this vehicle structured this way. So by the end of this podcast, hopefully I've opened your eyes into another way of doing what's been in front of our faces for many, many years. And this is a tool that wealthy people have been using for several years. This is nothing new. So it's all about how our money flows. Is our money flowing within our family system, or is it flowing outside of our family system into creditors and debtors' hands? So I'm sure all of us have some kind of third-party debt that we would love to eliminate. And if I were to ask you a question, if you could pay the interest that you're paying to the lending company back to yourself, imagine how much more money you would have. And so hopefully I can paint that picture for you tonight. I actually have a presentation I do, which is how I met Jerome, and showing you how a lot of them recapture debt that they were spending third-party creditors and eating away at their savings, their investments, and using the number one tool, leverage, to recapture this money and take advantage of uninterrupted compounding interest. And by the time that we break that down and you really see the value of how powerful that is, I think you'll see that, man, I have the access to some of the tools that the wealthy people have. I just have to know how to structure it. And so that's what I'm here to help you out with.
Y'all excuse me. I'm getting my notepad. I meant to get that out earlier, but
hopefully we can fill it up.
While we waiting, my man, you said you at the finance with the cars or whatever. Which dealership?
Land Rover in Alpharetta.
Man, you can't even help me out. I'm good. I ain't fucking right. That's too much.
I can help you out anywhere. It doesn't have to be Land Rover. Whatever you need, you holler at me and we'll get it set up. I got contacts all over the industry.
Well, this the thing. The car that I ended up getting recently, something happened with it, and I want to go ahead and get rid of it. I'm like, I don't want to put myself in this situation. Let me get rid of it now. But I got my loan through Navy Federal. So I don't know how that works where I can get another loan through Navy Federal, trade this car in, and then I'm good. But I'll talk to you about that, later. But I definitely want to do it that way.
Yeah, there's a way you can do it. It's pretty simple too.
So before we get into this, Maine, you got anything you wanna touch on?
I got the normal shit that we normally touch on, but this ain't that kind of show. We gonna steer away from that, from what we normally talk about. I'll just give a little backstory of why we, how we kind of came up with this topic for the show, and we wanted to bring you on and our other guest that's going to be on a little bit later. So, everybody through the last couple of years or whatever, through the pandemic, dealing with death and all kind of stuff like that. So I got to a discussion with somebody, and we were talking about how the things that we weren't taught as a young person. Like, I didn't learn about passive income until I was like in my mid 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that we weren't taught that because our parents weren't taught that. So they couldn't teach us that. So, that's how a lot of, not just systemically, we've been held back, but we've been held back from information as well, because we didn't get that transfer of knowledge about this kind of stuff that other groups of people have. So that's kind of where we were going to go live on Facebook and talk about it. It was like, well, just save it for the show, and we'll try to get some knowledgeable people about talking about how we build generational wealth. Because me, for myself, I just got my life insurance license maybe about 2 months ago. Okay. So and I know that's one of the big generators of generational wealth, of passing down stuff like that too. And what's so our community, or so we're so stuck in the rat race that we think we can't afford that stuff. But you can get a life insurance policy for about as much as you pay for a Netflix account.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's just prioritizing, things in our community, so this kind of where we wanted to steer the show. So that's just a little backstory of the topic for the show.
And I think that's a great place to start, because, and as you get into it more, when you're in it, and this doesn't matter what industry you're in, when you do it every day, to us, it's like common knowledge. And I think we take for granted how uncommon it is to the everyday person that is not in it every day. And that doesn't matter what field you're in, whether you're selling life insurance, whether you're selling cars, whether you're selling houses. We eat, sleep, and breathe it. Other people do it once every 3 to 5 years, if that. So there's so much information that we take for granted that we know, that other people either just don't take the time to study, that I think, for me, that's been the biggest challenge, saying, oh man, like, this is common knowledge, I don't need to talk about it. But then I had to realize that's common knowledge to me, because that's what I've been putting my time into. Everybody might not be putting that time into that, but that doesn't mean that they don't need that information. So I got to get out of my own way sometimes and say, let me spread this message just so people can have access to the information. They might not do nothing with it now. They might not do nothing with it 3 years from now. But at a certain point in their life, they're going to reach a point to where they're financially where they want to be, and at least they'll have access to information to know what to go look for. That's half the battle, knowing what to see.
Right.
Man, can you do me a favor and play that video I just sent you on the messenger?
Yeah, I got you.
I think that's kind of how we can start, based on the content of that video, because you can expand on that shit heavy.
Why should you become your own bank?
So this is you, and you put your money in the bank. Now, why do you put it there? Because you believe it's safe. But why is it safe? Because you have your money at the FDIC, which assures you up to $250,000. But what does the FDIC stand for? Federal Depository of Insurance Corporation. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me the banks are insured by insurance companies? So if you want to be...
Now that's the reason why I wanted to play that video. Yep. That right there. The reason why, and this is for everybody that's watching right now. For anybody who really doesn't know, we're taught to put our money in a bank. Now, the funny thing about it is, they will charge you interest on your money, and they will use your money to make money. Period. It's a gangster ass game the way that they do it. But pay attention to that one word that was in the FDIC, insurance. So if they're using insurance to utilize your money for them to make money, Brandon can go into detail to show you how you could be your own bank with an insurance policy.
Yep.
So with that being said, and with that segue from that video, Brandon, the floor is yours.
So I appreciate y'all having me on again. And like Jerome said, banks rely on insurance companies. They're actually the number one purchasers of these very policies that we're talking about. It's called BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. Another thing is large corporations are also major purchasers of them. It's called COLI, company-owned life insurance. So first off, we have to realize that this is nothing new. And we first have to realize, and we have to say to ourselves that we are worthy of having access to the same tools that some of the wealthiest people have access to. And a lot of times we think that those tools are something very intricate and something very sophisticated that we're not going to understand. And that's just not the case in this instance. So with this being said, when we're talking about becoming your own bank, we are not saying, hey, you're going to open up a charter and create your own brick and mortar bank. What we're doing is we're saying that you are going to create a system and a structure that leverages the same process that banks use in order to circulate money. So for us, we deposit our money into a bank and then they loan it out to other people tenfold, right? So they're basically making money on our money. So this, we show you how through a properly structured whole life policy with a mutual company that pays dividends, how to generate that for cash value. Now, most people, when they think of life insurance, especially whole life, they're thinking about a death benefit. That's all we've been talking about. You buy this life insurance policy so that when you die, it is passed down to your next generation. Now, that is true, and that is a powerful tool. However, a lot of people don't realize the living benefits to life insurance, i.e., that's why they call it life insurance. We've been taught to focus on the death benefit. The way that I talk about it, the death benefit is just a cherry on top. It's icing on the cake. It's there. But what we want to focus on is on the cash value accumulation. Why is that? Because with that cash value, you can then leverage it in order to have access to funds. Now, notice that I said leverage. You're not going to pull from that account. You're going to borrow against that account. What that means is that the insurance company is going to use that cash value as collateral, and they will give you a loan against that account. And what they'll do is your money is going to sit in that account, compounding at an uninterrupted 4%. Now, I'm sure people say, oh, I can go to the stock market and get, 10%. I can buy crypto, get 100%, whatever. First thing we got to realize is that this is not an investment. We're not talking about investment. We're talking about creating a system that allows you to fund your investments. And so when you see how the money flows, then you'll realize that, oh, I have access to this cash that's been sitting in this life insurance policy doing absolutely nothing because I didn't know what to do with it. You mean to tell me that I can leverage it and I can use that to buy a car? And so in this instance, what I would tell you is that, first off, the insurance company is going to pay you a guaranteed 4% compounding uninterrupted. Now, the key to that is uninterrupted. And I think what we have to understand is how powerful compounding interest is. They say it's the ninth wonder of the world, and for good reason. But what they don't tell you is that if you touch that pot that is compounding, it's going to hurt the compounding effect. In order for compounding interest to truly get its maximum benefit, the money needs to sit still. Well, how fun is that, or how feasible is that when we're putting our money into these vehicles that we need access to our cash for? Because you say, hey, Outlaw, you said I could use this while I'm living. Well, how do I use it if the money needs to sit still and compound uninterrupted? The way that you do that is through a loan against the cash value. So the insurance company is going to let your money continue to grow uninterrupted. And then when you need access to some money, they're going to say, hey, instead of us taking from this account, we're going to give you a loan and use this as collateral. We're going to let your money still grow, but we're going to give you access to some funds. Now, the interest rate on the actual policy account itself is about 4%. You got that in writing in the contract. It's not going to fluctuate. If the market crashes, they still going to pay it. Now, in addition to that, you get dividends, which is really it's not really a dividend, it's a return of premium. So that can be used to purchase additional PUA to gain more death benefit and cash value, so the cash value account continues to rise over time. And so with time of funding this account, eventually you will be able to put $1 in and get access to $1.10 on each dollar, or $1.20 or $1.30. Now you got to keep in mind that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not something that you're going to do for 2 years and be done. This is something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. And over time, you'll see how this cash value accumulation occurs to where you can essentially be your own bank. You won't go to Bank of America and ask for auto loan. What you're going to do is you're going to go to your policy. If you're going to take out a loan against your policy, you're going to go pay cash for the vehicle. And the key is to treat your money like you treat the bank's money. Because if Bank of America gave you a loan, they're going to give you a term of 60, 72 months, 48 months, whatever. They're going to give you a payment, and they're going to give you an interest rate. And you got to pay that back every month. And if you don't pay it back, guess what? They're coming to get your vehicle. So the first thing we got to do is we got to treat our money just as good as we treat the bank's money. And oftentimes we don't treat our money as good as we treat the bank's money. We're going to pay the bank's money back because we're scared of our vehicle getting repoed. But then when we go borrow against from ourselves, we say, oh, well, I don't have to pay it back, so I'm just not going to do it. You got to get systems in place to pay yourself the monthly payment to your banking system the way that you did to Bank of America. And here's the kicker. When you pay the money back, you get to use it again and just recycle it. Recycle it. All while your money is still compounding uninterrupted. And so over time, you're going to see how much cash value you get over time. The guy that taught me about this, he told me that his daughter was going to buy a house. And instead of her going to a mortgage company, she went to her dad, and he is the mortgage holder on her property. So what does that mean? He went to his policy. He took the cash, paid cash to the builder for the property, right? So he's got the deed to it. He owns it free and clear. Now his daughter is paying a mortgage payment to him that he is paying to his banking system. So guess what? Over time, in 30 years after she pays the house off or whatever, guess what? She has all the money back that she spent. They own the house. And when daddy dies, guess who gets everything? The daughter, tax free. So that's what they mean when they say keeping the money in the family. Right. You're not keeping the money in the family when you're going to Bank of America to get a loan. You putting the money in Bank of America's vehicle. You got to keep it in your vehicle. And you have to create an environment with the proper tools in place that will allow you to do that. Because without the proper tool, you can't just go and be your own bank. Yes, you could go pay cash. You could take money from an account. Let's say you have a $100,000 account. You go buy a car for $50,000. You're going to go take $50,000 out of that account to go pay cash for that car. That $50,000 is no longer working for you. It's working for the bank. They're giving you a car, which is a depreciating asset in most cases, right? So therefore, you're not essentially you're not being a bank, because even if you paid yourself back, you're just filling back up that $100,000 account to where it was. Now, with this system, you never are going to touch your $100,000. You're going to let that continue to compound. You'll get access to some cash from the insurance company. You're going to go pay cash for the vehicle, and then you're going to treat your banking system the same way. You're going to make that monthly payment back to your system, which as you pay the insurance company back, they free that money back up to use again. And guess what? You got the car free and clear. So over time, you'll see how you recaptured all the interest that you were losing into Bank of America and directing it back into your banking system. At the end, you just paid for the full car, got all the money back, and you have the car to go sell if you want to and do it all over again. And you just rinse and repeat. Now, that can be with a car, that can be with a house, that can be with a vacation, that could be with a wedding ring, whatever you want to.
Brandon,
yeah.
hold on, bro. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Because you're dropping some gems right now. So for somebody who has a whole life insurance policy right now or whatever, okay, for one thing, what is their credit? Is it like a credit profile they need, a certain credit profile they need to have?
No.
how many years do they have to be in that policy, or is that determined by the type of policy they have? So break that down as far as that.
So great questions. So the way that you qualify for policy has nothing to do with your credit. It has to do with your overall health.
Right.
And anybody that understands insurance just a little bit, life insurance is cheaper when you're younger. And the reason for that is because there's less risk of you dying. And so the insurance does a ton of risk calculations to determine what probability that they will have to cash out and pay out on this policy. So age goes into a factor, your overall health, do you smoke? They will do a physical test, blood work to make sure that you're healthy. So if you have any pre-existing conditions, they want to know that because they want to know what are the chances that something's going to come up to where they have to pay out. Now, there are some people that are uninsurable due to their health, but that doesn't mean that they can't use this. You can still use it because you can open up a policy on somebody that you have an insurable interest with. I.e., that's why these companies can purchase these policies on their key employees because they have insurable interests. The thing is, once that employee dies, that company is going to get the death benefit put back into their system. So that's why banks and insurance companies purchase so much of it. So the first question, no, you don't have to have certain credit to do this. Second of all, when can you leverage it? So you can access the cash value the first year. Now, there is a time frame of as the cash value builds up. So in the first year, you won't have access to 100% of the cash that you put in because you have to capitalize that policy. Just like you got to capitalize anything, you got to capitalize a business or anything else. Over time, so first year, just rough figures, you're probably gonna have about 50% of access to the cash that you put in that year. Second year, let's call it roughly about 60. Third year, you want to call it roughly around mid 70s. Fourth year, it's going to be high 90%. By the fifth year, you'll be able to borrow dollar for dollar of what you put in that year. 6th year, now you put in $1, you got access to, let's just say $1.10. So over time, you might put $1 in and be able to borrow against $1.50 right then. So if you put 10,000 in and it's $1.50, that's 15 grand. That's over time, but that kind of gives you an idea of how it grows as time goes along, because these policies only get better with time. All you're doing is you're paying your premium. Now, it is a banking system, but the underlying vehicle is a whole life cash value policy. So if you die during that time, it's still going to pay out to your beneficiaries the way a regular life insurance policy does. So that's the other beautiful thing about it. So, and if somebody wants to reach out, maybe we can do another one to where I will do the presentation that I did for Jerome, and I've got some graphs and some charts so that where you can visibly see this and see the progression of it. But to answer your question, no, you don't have to have any type of credit. And also, when you access the cash, you don't have to do a credit check. Right now, when you go buy a vehicle, you got to do a credit app, and they have to decide whether or not they want to lend you the money and what rate they want to. When you access your cash, you don't do no credit app. They don't ask no questions. You tell them how much you want, and they send it to you direct deposit within 2-3 days. No questions asked. So to answer your question, that's how it works. And we'll go over a good book for you to read if you really want to understand this. It's called Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash.
The black book?
Say it again.
That black book with like the bank thing on the.
Yep.
The problem is you gotta find. I got one. I gave it to my homeboy. I ain't get it back yet, but you gotta find it, and it's more expensive now.
Yeah, it's going on. I mean, the information, the knowledge is valuable. But it's imperative that you get it. You can get it on Amazon, eBay sometimes. But that book is going to break it down to you. It's going to show you how he built a business off of it. One company that you might be familiar with that used one was Disney. Walt Disney actually funded Disney World based off a loan that he took from his life insurance policy. JCPenney's did the same thing. Somebody asked, is it like a universal life policy? So a universal life policy is a form of insurance. There are many different ways that you could do an insurance policy. I don't personally subscribe to a universal life policy for this because there's a lot of different fluctuations with the cash value, the premium, and everything. We want everything consistent in our banking system, which is why we elect the whole life, because you're going to have a contract. It's going to state the interest rate. It's never going to fluctuate. It's never going to go down. You're not going to be risk of your policy lapsing unless you just don't pay your premium. With universal policies, they're painted to be great. Yes, your cash value can be greater in certain times when the market's doing good. But when it's doing bad, you do risk the chance of your policy lapsing. Also, if the policy is doing too well, the insurance company does have the right to increase the fees on it. So there's a lot of things that agents might not tell you about those policies because all they're thinking about is, oh, you can get this astronomical rate. You're not doing this for an investment. If you want to go chase rates, play the stock market, buy a crypto, do whatever you want to do. You're just trying to create a banking system, and from there, you can decide what you want to do with the money if you want to chase rate.
I'm gonna put you. I caddy at a golf course in Jersey or whatever, so I know a lot of money people. Like these are rich cats. And one dude who I know, like I'm real cool with, he's a money man. And I mentioned this particular concept to him. These are his words. And I want you to explain why he was right or wrong. I know you're gonna say no, you're not gonna agree with him, but I mentioned about this type of policy to him, and he said he doesn't recommend it because you don't have access to all of your money. Those were his exact words.
Yeah. So you don't have access to all of your money right away. You will eventually end up having access to more money than you put into it with time. And that's because of how the policy has to be capitalized. And with time, with the growth, the compounding interest, eventually your premium payment is going to be reduced tremendously to where let's just say that you're paying $4,000. You might pay $4,000 for that year, and right once you pay it within 30 days, have access to $5,000. And that book, Becoming Your Own Banker, did a great job of illustrating that because it shows the growth of these policies. So no, upfront, you do not have access to all of your money. Over time, and you're doing this is a lifestyle for you. Over time, you will have access to more money than you put into it.
Now here's my other question. I'm asking for myself, and I think a lot of people that's watching, they may have the same question. Before I say that, for everybody out there, I put the link up. If anybody wants to come on camera to ask a question, feel free to click on the link. For somebody who doesn't have an exorbitant amount of money, and I'm gonna use myself for an example. What's the amount of a policy that you would recommend for somebody who just wants to get started, and then maybe it can grow over time?
If you're doing for banking, you recommend the rule of thumb is about 10 times your age per month. So if you're 30 years old, $300 a month, if that is not where you are, we have to realize that every tool and every vehicle is not meant for us at that time. So if you don't do a banking policy, that doesn't mean that you can't leverage some form of life insurance, whether it's a term policy, whether it's just a regular structured whole life policy with no cash value. So when you're talking with the person, an advisor, you want to sit down and we want to get the whole financial picture of where that person is, and then we can build a plan that works for them. So whether you're doing this for a banking concept or whether you're doing this just to get some insurance in place, the earlier you do it, the better, because it only gets more expensive with time. And I'm not going to be the person that's always advocating, oh, you got to do a banking policy or it's not right. No, that's not the case. The truth of the matter is you want to make sure that you have some form of insurance in place early on so that you can protect your family if something happens to you. This just so happens that you can structure it to where it has cash value and you can recapture a lot of the money that you're spending out to third parties.
Right.
All right. So that once again, hold up. Let me go ahead and get ready to pop this off for real. All right, Arthur, you too tall, my man. Everybody seeing your lips down. Yeah, you gotta see your face. Turn your mic on.
What's going on, family?
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
What's going on?
Well,
Before I do the introduction of Arthur, Brandon, Arthur, because he text you, but y'all didn't get a chance to connect. So I want to introduce y'all two first.
Nice to meet you, man.
Definitely nice to meet you, brother. Look, I've been listening to what you saying, and you dropping the jewels. You got the treasure chest open in there.
I'm
I
telling you.
appreciate it. And
Now-
I heard briefly what you do, and I think these two vehicles go well together, actually.
Now, for everybody out there, Arthur is a returning guest, and he's going to be talking about trust.
Yeah.
So, with us wanting to do this show about generational wealth, all right, Arthur, we looking at your lips, my man. You got to move, got to back up.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm having some issues here.
So the thing about it is, when you start talking about generational wealth,
Yeah.
we have to get out of thinking it's just about saving. It's just about this, that, whatever. These two vehicles that these two gentlemen are very well versed on can truly help with group economics. This is how the elite move, because this is their playbook. Now that we have the playbook, the question is, what exactly are we going to do with it? That's the main thing, because people make sacrifices and buy bullshit all the time. With what he just said, I'm 45 years old. Now I have to figure out, I got to find $450 a month to put into this banking policy. I got to find it. Like, I have to find it because this is what I want to do. Point blank, period, end of story. So you got to ask yourself, what exactly do you want to do? Because it's important. It's the only way we're going to be able to move. And to kind of segue into something, I'm hoping that you two are also versed on this cryptocurrency aspect of it, because when you start talking about crypto, since that's the way that we're gonna go, and I don't even think I said this to Jermaine before. Here's my thing about cryptocurrency. Do I doubt it? No. Do I believe that it's false and fake? No. But here's my thing about it. If you have $1 trillion in cryptocurrency, what happens when they turn off the grid? How you gonna have access to your cryptocurrency? See, I think that way because they have that access. We don't have that access. It's a great concept, but if we ain't got no motherfucking satellites and can't control it, then what?
Yeah.
You got all that shit waiting, but they actually have control of your currency. So, I mean, I think that's something that we could kind of touch on too, because y'all may know more about it than me.
Yep.
I'm not all hyped about it. Like, I do want to make sure I have something to be prepared. But like I said, that preparation can be clicked off in the drop of a hat.
Well,
Yeah.
but before we turn it over, let me just kind of piggyback off of what you said about, our conditioning has been savings. You got to save for a rainy day. You got to make sure you got, this emergency, this and that. And, that is the mindset that has to change for me. That's my whole thing. My whole thing is changing the mindset. So if you're not even open-minded enough to even grasp what Outlaw has been saying for the last 30 minutes, if you're not even open-minded enough to say, hey, because my whole thing, as far as with the life insurance, if we're gonna touch on the life insurance policy part, if you don't even have a burial policy for yourself, when you die, you're gone. You leave the pieces behind, and now Pookie got a GoFundMe for Pookie. Now, like I just said, you can get a nice policy for how much Netflix costs a month. You know what I'm saying? But it's about changing the mindset and prioritizing shit. And that's the mindset we need to start making a change as a community as a whole. So I'll leave that there.
And one thing that we have to realize, Robert Kiyosaki said it best. In this interest rate environment, savers are losers. We're seeing now inflation really start to rear its ugly head. Banks aren't paying us anything to keep our money there, yet they're lending it out and making all the money with it. So saving is not going to do enough. Yes, you need to save to have a nest egg for if everything hits the fan and you lose your job. But the rest of your money needs to be working for. I look at my dollars as employees. How many of my employees do I have working for me? And if a lot of my employees are working for somebody else and not me, I don't have a true business. I'm making somebody else rich. So keep that in mind.
Yes, sir. Man, I want to hug your neck through the phone right there. 'Cause that's a key. That's a key. Your dollars are literally your employees. Put them to work for you. I say this often, and I want to touch back on this since you was talking about the insurance, brother. If you want to know where to find your money to put into your insurance policy, liquidate that damn savings account. It ain't doing you no good. They giving you 0.007%.
You
Shit,
talk
you can
about
put it
me.
in an IUL and get a floor of 75.
Hold up, Arthur. You talk about me or the average person? You talk about me?
Just period. No, just period.
I'm saying for me, I ain't got no goddamn savings account.
Oh,
So
well,
yeah,
you know what? Okay, I got something for you. I got something for you because I know you done heard me talk about them damn pine cones already. I know you done heard me talk about them pine cones. So it's ways to generate money and it don't take no whole lot. So yeah, look, couple of boxes of pine cones a week. That take care of your insurance policy right there. I'm just saying.
but I want here's something that I want to say to both of y'all, and I really want y'all to piggyback off of each other because this is very, very important. The first time, and I mean this, the first time that I heard this saying, own nothing, control everything, was from Arthur. I had never heard that before. He said it. We met in the clubhouse room and he said it, and I was like, God damn, that's powerful. But he broke it down why.
That is so
okay.
true.
With you making that statement, I want both of y'all to touch on how people can do it and why it's so fucking important.
All right, let's go. And I'm gonna plug you in with me, brother. I'm gonna plug you in right there with me. Okay, this is done through the trust. You have heard of these things, and you may not have heard of these things, but they are operating every day in our society. The trust is the dynamic by which you keep that which you kill, those assets that you acquire throughout the course of your life. It separates the liability of the person from the asset. So now, instead of your all capital name being on the bill and on the house, you got your all capital name on the bill, but the house belongs to the trust. But the vehicles, the businesses, they belong to the trust. So what happens is, if you do it correctly, you can set up a trust, and your trust is an ens legis. In law, it is a thing. It is a living entity. So that trust can purchase those insurance policies. I'm going to say it again. The trust can purchase the policies and make the payments.
Yep.
That's
He's
one
right.
part.
He's
Now,
right.
what that trust will do is it will open an INC, a front-facing public corporation. If you're familiar with the Trump family, this is where Donald Trump works at. In the public front-facing INC, he's a W-2 employee. So they determine how much his salary is based on what his responsibilities are at the company, which is why he pays $750 a year in taxes.
Yep.
That's part one. So what the trust does, by its usage and by its ability to control these devices, it's your real property, your intellectual property, your land, your tradable instruments, that's your Bitcoin, that's your stocks, that's your bonds, that's all of these things. And then any exclusive rights that you have, that's copyrights, trademarks, patents, any of these things, all of these things should be owned by the trust. Own nothing. Everything you own can be liquidated to satisfy a debt. That's the key principle. So these guys take these trusts and they put these things in these trusts. A trust beats inheritance taxes. So when they die, there are no taxes for that thing that is passed on. A trust beats probate. So there's no dynamic by which a third party creditor can come in against that estate to liquidate assets to satisfy a debt. Those two key factors right there will keep the money inside of your family in a cycle. If your trust is set up properly, and it does things correctly. And what I mean by that is I like this thing called a irrevocable, revocable trust. When you start it, it is revocable. While you're alive and you're in your proper mind state, you can make changes. You can do things to that trust. The minute that you go out of your proper mind or that you pass, it locks and it becomes irrevocable and nobody can make changes. They cannot contest the dynamics of your trust. So if you got a family member who didn't get something they thought they were supposed to have and you have a trust in place, oh, well, too bad. They don't get to go to court. They don't get to raise no stink. That's not how that works. No third party creditor can come after that trust for anything that you personally owe.
Mm-hmm.
The trust is a nasty vehicle. It is a protection method. So what happens is, let me ask a question. Who needs to earn $300,000 a year? Nobody. The wealthiest people in the world make less a year than you do.
Yep.
They don't need the money. The trust owns everything, and because they're beneficiaries or trustees, they have access to everything. So Trump lives at Mar-a-Lago. He don't own it. He go play golf at the golf courses, but he don't own them. The whole family own them under that trust, and all of the decisions on things to be bought, sold, or traded are made as a board. They sit down and go through proposals. They got financial perspectives. They know what they doing before they spend a dime. This thing keeps the family from being in debt. So Donald Trump's.
Can you
Okay, go ahead.
can you hit on the fact that when they take these board meetings, they have to have these retreats, and so oftentimes they go on these retreats, which are the common person's way of saying a vacation.
100% tax write-off.
100% tax write-off.
100%, and they don't care if you went to Bimini for the week.
Yep. Just keep your minutes.
Yes, sir. Keep your minutes. Look, and if you do it slick, see, this is the good thing about the IRS tax code. Ain't but 100 pages that tell you how to pay taxes. All the rest of them are to incentivize you and find out how you get credits. So what you do is when you go on your trip to Bimini, as this trust board meeting, y'all gonna have a meeting on Friday, and then on Monday y'all gonna view a property. You'll take about a couple hours on Monday, and not a whole weekend as a write-off, and everything that's included. Y'all heard me.
Yep.
This is how this works. The minute you start building and putting your assets together this way, you keep control. Nobody can take that control away from you. Even if you die, they can't take that control away from you. So if we look at 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, his baby's mother brought him to child support court to increase her child support judgment. He sat on the stand and told them, oh, I don't own any of those things. I don't have the money. I don't have them cars, the jewelry. None of that stuff is mine. We rented all of that stuff. She didn't get an increase in child support because he didn't show earned income.
Yep.
But that trust wealthy. Trust got all the money. That Coca-Cola money he make go into a trust. A trust has the ability to keep you private. So in the event that a person wins the lottery is public record. So when your person wins and they go claim that ticket, they publish their name in the paper. They publish their name in all of these things. So now any third party creditors who are out there who have a debt against you, they showing up to the door trying to get their money. But if ticket is signed over to a trust, it remains private. They don't know who got the money.
And the beautiful thing about the trust is interesting that because when I first learned about this banking concept, I was in a seminar. That seminar discussed banking. That seminar discussed precious metals, and that seminar discussed trust and foundations. So I actually have a trust, and I've done a lot of studying on trust and how they flow the trust and donate into foundations, which are 501c3s. But the benefit to the trust that a lot of people miss is the asset protection. Like you said, it separates you from the asset because it is a living and breathing entity. And so therefore, if somebody tries to sue you, they're not going to get anything because you don't own anything. You control everything.
And you know what's funny? What you just said. That's what Bill and Melinda Gates do. So everybody thinks, oh, they're such these big philanthropers. No, they're investing. They're giving these monies to companies that they own or businesses that they own. Through their trust, and it looked like they're giving $5 billion or whatever, but it's really going to themselves through the trust.
And
it get nastier because they get a write-off for the businesses that donate the money to the trust, so they get tax benefit from it coming back. And depending on what kind of nonprofit you got, you can have something like Goodwill. Goodwill has a nonprofit, for-profit running side by side. Mm-hmm. So they take donations and they take these type of things and they turn around and they pay people who are targeted employees. There's a reason that Goodwill hires people who are mentally handicapped. They hire veterans, mentally handicapped, the elderly, people on social services, because the government gives you tax credits for hiring them. That's why the old lady standing at Walmart going, hi, welcome to Walmart. Walmart make more money off of her standing there than they do paying her.
Yeah.
So they take these vehicles and they bring all of them together. The insurance, that's part of it. The trust, that's part of it. The investments in your bullion. I'm glad brother brought up the gold and the silver and the precious metals. I want to tell you, that's my thing when it comes to Bitcoin. When it comes to fiat currency, turn your fiat into actual currency. Because I'm going to let you know.
Let me correct the language a little bit.
Okay.
turn your fiat into actual money, we first have to
Okay.
understand the difference between money and currency.
Okay. I got you.
He
I
said
got you.
turn your fiat into money, not
Yeah, the real
currency.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh,
the
hold that
real
thought.
stuff.
Hold that thought, fellas, because we got a question. Tanya said, "Do you have to have a business to start a trust, or can you just
No.
make or can you
No.
just make an account to a trust? Make an account."
Yes. Yes, you can set up a trust, and if you wish to make it public, see that's why the trusts are really individualized. So if you want your trust to be public, you'll apply for an EIN, just like any other business for that trust. If you want your trust to remain private, you will start that trust. It will remain private, and the trust will own your INC or your LLC, and that's the front-facing public part of it. So you can do it a couple of ways, and I prefer that way because if you put vehicles into a trust. So say you got a couple of cars, you got them paid off or whatever, you want to protect those things. But if you put them directly into the trust, you have a rolling liability. So if that vehicle gets into something, now the trust will be liable for managing that. But if a INC or LLC owns that vehicle that the trust owns, now that stops at the LLC level. You feel me?
Now, wait a minute. I got stuff going on behind me, and something just popped in my head. I was gonna say for shit. Go ahead, Jermaine. That shit, I gotta have it come back to me.
So, but you just can't walk into your bank and say, "Hey, I want to start a trust," right?
No.
Okay.
Well, this the thing. If you have a bank and you go in there and you tell them you want to start a trust and they try to discourage you, change banks. If you got an attorney and you go in there and you tell your attorney that you want to set up a trust and he tell you don't have enough money, change attorneys. And the reason I say that is because the banks know that they will make less off of you if you set up a trust. And that attorney know in probate, he get to hit your estate multiple times. So if he set you up a trust, you ain't gonna see him no more. And he know it.
Yep.
So they're trying to discourage you for their benefit. And if you're dealing with somebody like that, you don't want to be dealing with them. Just right off the rip. So if your banker or your attorney discourage you from starting the trust, you already know who you need to be. Not there. You
Now,
need somebody who's going to work with you on building that thing. And it does not take a lot of money to start one.
and that's what I was going to get to, because I asked Outlaw, what's the minimum to start with the being your own bank? As far as with you and the information with the trust, what's the minimum that you could possibly go ahead and get your trust started?
You can start a trust with $32. Okay, and the reason I say that because you could purchase a silver bullion coin, find silver, or purchase you a gold coin. You can fund that initial from your trust with that intrinsic, new static, and with the values that are based in that thing. So what I like is a silver surety. So what you do, you get you 21 pieces of silver according to the commerce and trade laws. That's 21 pre-1933 silver troy ounce dollars. Then you take those, set you up a silver surety, register that bond with the Secretary of Treasury. He'll open you a treasury account. We ain't talking about no damn bank. We ain't talking about no credit union. We talking about a treasury account with the Secretary of the Treasury for the state. And there you go, funded, done. And you can't be bankrupt because the silver surety has an open-ended funding amount.
It just popped in my head what I want to do for Outlaw and for Arthur. In the comments, put your contact information so that people can know how to contact you to talk about these things, because we got to make sure that we getting the right people. We got to make sure we getting the people to you.
So I got a question. What do I type? For some reason, I don't.
You on your phone?
No, I'm on a laptop.
If you on a laptop, it should say comments somewhere.
I see it on the right side, but I don't see where I can type it.
You scroll all the way down to the bottom and won't let you type.
Mm-mm.
Text it to me, and I'll put it up there. Text
All
it
right.
to me, and I'll put it up there. You good?
Hey, Arthur, the reason why I said the bank is because I live in South Carolina, so I bank with SRP Federal Credit Union. So
Okay.
I went in there. I think it was after the last time you were on the show, and I told the lady, I said, the banking manager or whoever in the offices, I said,
Bank manager.
Yeah, I said I wanted to start a trust, and she said, well, you have to get with your attorney first, or something like that. She said you have to have your attorney draw up something first before they can start it. Is that true? Is that
Okay. Your bank will have your notary They'll be able to do the notary for the different instruments or something like that you're bringing in. But you do have to have the trust, the document itself, prepared first. So what you do is the trust. Yeah, you prepare the document and then it gets registered. Depending on what kind of law you're working with, it'll get registered with the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury. If you're doing a statutory, it'll get registered down the lines. You'll notify your county, ASAIR, and your city, or whoever the dynamics are, depending on what kind of trust you're setting up. Because you're doing international, that's something else. If you're doing, if you're doing native tribal treaty, that's something else. So it kind of depends on what you're doing, who you register with. However, once you get that paper sent up and registered, so say you're doing a statutory and you get a stamp back from the Secretary of State, you'll take that stamp and your paperwork from your trust. And if you're doing public, you'll have your EIN. If you're not doing public and private, you'll take that stamp and that paperwork to the bank with you and they'll open that damn account. Done.
Okay. And as far as so if you have LLCs already set up, how does that work as far as rolling them into the trust once you get the trust started?
It's called transfer of trust. It's called transfer of trust. And what you're going to do is once you get the trust set up and established, any companies or any properties that you want to transfer, it's literally a notarized document. You'll put in the information for that thing. So say if it's a vehicle, you'll put in the VIN number, you'll put in the MCO numbers, you'll put in your titles, and you'll have all of your things that prove your ownership for that thing. You will take them, have them notarized, and they transfer to the trust. It'll come out of your name and go into the trust. So now all of the records that go with that thing have to be updated. So if you transfer that vehicle, it can't be in your name anymore. You got to go to the DMV, transfer that thing from your name to the trust name. You got to go to anything you deal with that thing that has your name on it. Your name got to come off and the trust name got to go on. You feel me?
Gotcha.
That part.
For both of y'all, and and Jermaine might be able to help me. If you click on yourself on the screen, there's a way you can display your name. It should be a way, like it should be a box or something like that. If you click on that, that's where you want to put your contact. So I don't even know why, Jermaine, I don't even know why our stuff not showing. If you look at it, I don't see my name. And I don't understand why, because that display name is supposed to be there.
Let's see. Let's
If you put like right now, all of us should see our names on the screen. So I don't know why it's not live. I'm gonna go ahead and post everybody's stuff, but it should be up there.
Can y'all see my name?
Nah, I don't see nothing.
Yeah, normally is up there.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's not doing that all of a sudden.
Telling too much good information. Y'all know how this works.
Yeah, we know how.
You start dropping them jewels, they start getting glitches.
So one thing, I see a question that says, so when I go to the bank to make a trust, which trust should I get to protect some money? I'm not the trust expert, but I can't answer this. So like he said, the trust doesn't create, the bank doesn't create your trust. You get an attorney or somebody to draw up your trust documents. Once you have your trust documents in place, then you go to the bank and you open up said accounts with your trust documentation. So that there's proper language that has to be in these documents for it to be structured based off whatever goals you're looking to achieve. So that's another thing. There are so many different trusts out there. You have to talk with somebody like him and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to accomplish. And he can guide you in the right direction as to what type of trust that you need. You also can own multiple trusts. Wealthy people own several different types of trusts based off what it is that they're trying to accomplish so that they can make sure that everything is flowing properly. So it's not just one trust. It's not just, hey, how do I protect my money? You're trying to protect not only your money, but more so protect your assets, because you want to leverage the assets to be able to utilize the money to go accumulate more assets while removing the liability from your personal self. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir. Boom. Like 1,000,000% correct. That is definitely it.
Yeah.
Now, I would advise this. If you're going to look at a trust, look down the road. Do it like a GPS. Know where you're going, because it's easier to plot with how to get there if you know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I have seen them for up to 250 years. The one I have is 420. So how far down the road, how many things you want it to do? How many generations do you want it to protect? Do you want your children to have the ability to buy, sell properties? Do you want the trust to manage that? Do you want to have them be responsible for their taxes, or do you want the trust to manage that? How do you want this set up? You gonna have, and that's why I say it's really personal, because you map it out what this is gonna look like, not only while you here, but after you leave. And these ain't the type of documents you can do once you dead. That don't work.
Right.
You got to do them now.
And another thing, the reason why these two topics go so well together is because the same go life insurance. Most policies in most states are protected from liens, judgments. If you're married to somebody and you get divorced, they don't get access to these funds. They don't get access to these funds. Not to mention, when you die, it's protected from probate. So your money flows down tax-free. Your assets flow down without getting taxed, whether it's a gift tax or whatever, because the trust continues to live on. Your beneficiaries of the trust are able to utilize that trust. So we have been taught as a people for so long, oh, I gotta own the crib, I gotta own the whip. We've been taught backwards. And so when you go to try to relinquish ownership, although you still keep your control, it psychologically messes with us, because for so long we've been taught, oh, you're supposed to own everything. You're supposed to own everything. And that's not the case. He mentioned earlier about Bill and Melinda Gates and them being so philanthropic and everything. So another thing with these trusts and these foundations and these banking policies is these people, they work together. It's like all four of us having our own banking system and our own trust. And then let's not even get into the foundations. We're not going to go into that. But what they do is, let's say I make a bunch of money 1 year in my business, or my trust does. Instead of paying tax on that, I go and donate to Jerome's foundation, or I buy a bunch of the stock in his company. What do I do to his company? That stock goes up. I get to write it off. So Warren Buffett did that with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And a lot of people think they're being philanthropic. No, they're not being philanthropic. They're just protecting their money. They're moving around within their circle and their community. That's all they're doing.
Absolute facts. I want to go into that into the nonprofit side. That's those foundations that we're talking about under the trust. So what'll happen is you'll have a nonprofit, and if you're familiar with how nonprofits get their money, they get their money through federal government grants, state government grants, business to business grants, and nonprofit grants. So other nonprofits give them money, and those are awarded based on the programs that the nonprofit operates. So you will have a nonprofit, and they have mentorship, arts and music. Art and music is what the Kennedy Center was built under. Art and music grant from the Kennedy families, companies, to the Kennedy Foundation. That's why it's called the Kennedy Center. You got mentorship, leadership development, career development, and anything else that the government is incentivizing, where they will just give you free money to utilize inside of that trust. Yeah, it don't matter how much, or inside of that nonprofit, because it don't matter how much money your trust has that's operating that nonprofit. So you put some of your money in, your companies donate some money, and then the federal government give you some money. Check it out, to incentivize people to join your family's organization, the business trust. Okay, so check it out. You take that trust, bust it up into subtrusts. You have a family subtrust, a corporate subtrust, and a nonprofit subtrust. At the family subtrust, you'll handle finance, legal, accounting, HR, customer retention and management, information and technology, marketing, contract, and security. It'll handle your risk mitigations. It'll handle your taxes and all of the regulatory dynamics that it takes to operate a company. Now, on the nonprofit side, we know we need people in all of those areas, so we can have us a nonprofit on-the-job training program that mentors people in all of those things that we need in our company, and the federal government gonna help to pay for it. Y'all see how this works?
Now for everybody out there, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what Jermaine. I know Jermaine did something. He was over there pushing buttons.
Now, well, while the banner is going across, it takes away the display of everybody's names.
Okay, so for everybody out there, their contact information is there. In the comments, I put their phone number. My suggestion to everybody right now is you need to text them, put your name, and put unplug so they know where you contacting them from. Do it now, because we all have absent-minded in a situation we forget. Do that right now because we got to make sure that we get this information out. This is, and I'm pretty sure y'all can touch on this. When you start talking about Claude Anderson and him talking about group economics, this right here, these two entities can change the entire game where now you can remove yourself from this system because you have your own system. There's no need for you to be involved because you don't need them. They can't come at you anymore to say, if you don't do this, we gonna do this. You give them, fuck you, I got my own, and I got people that's backing me. That's where we gotta be. Damn the jealousy, damn the envy, all of that shit. This is where we have to be on code. Period.
Absolutely.
Damn the bullshit. We have to be on code with stuff like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go into the community dynamic. So what happens is what I was talking about before, irrevocable, revocable, that's on along a family or internal business line. Now what happens is you have this thing called community trust. It is not just the square on the board, on a monopoly board. It really is a thing. The community trust is the dynamic by which different families under trust come together and provide that thing that they have for a community. So say our family trust, we have industry in our family. And say we do real estate and contracting. And that's our contribution to that community trust. And another family, they have electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. That's their contribution to the community trust. And someone else, if you got 6 families, if they cross 8 to 12 industries, y'all can literally be self-sustainable. You will not need anyone for anything. It is real estate development, contracting and construction, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC, transportation, logistics, and maintenance, agriculture and farming, entertainment, publishing, and media, healthcare services from birth to death, food services, politics, law and legal representation, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and banking, credit, and finance. If you have the members of your community trust in these places, you win automatically, because there's no thing that will come down through zoning and planning commission. Why? Because you have a political wing and you have a law wing to handle those things before they ever get to you. Anybody inside of this community trust has any type of ailments. We got healthcare internal. We pay our healthcare to our people who work there, who are us. So we automatically gonna get a better level of healthcare. It creates a communal interdependence because all of those things you need are right there in your community. So I have a question, and with that, I'm gonna kind of shut up for a second. I'm gonna kind of let the mic pass around. But ask yourself, when is the last time when you went grocery shopping, it was a Vietnamese family or Korean family walking around the grocery store behind you? They weren't. They still gotta eat. They're not at your grocery store because they have come together under a community trust dynamic and opened their own grocery store. That's why they'll drive to another county to grocery shop. And with that, I'll lay my mic down for a minute.
But what you're saying is so powerful because it's, again, like I always say, it's a mindset thing. So I made a post on Facebook maybe about 2 or 3, maybe last week sometime, and it's about the Monopoly board. And it's like, we've been so conditioned to just go around the board and just collect $200 and keep going around while every other group is buying property, buying the electric company, buying, the little bull crap, the little pieces, the spots that nobody wants. I forget the name of them, but nobody wants them. But we just going around, and then at the end of the day, we've all played Monopoly, and we got that person who just dodging jail. They dodges landing on somebody's property to pay them rent, and that's the mindset we've been in, and nobody has taught us. And me and Brandon, we were talking earlier before you got on. We were talking about nobody taught us that. Hey, you need to start investing in these properties. With this money, all this money you collecting from going around, go ahead and invest that money into something that you can get some passive income from. Because, like I was saying earlier, I didn't learn about passive income until I was in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
Early mid-30s. That's way beyond. That's too late. Almost too late at the part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mindset thing, and we as a community, we don't fuck with each other like that. Let's just keep it 100. We don't. We've been taught not to fuck with each other like that. We don't want to see the other person, getting more because we thinking, oh, I should have more or this kind of that. It's that mindset that we got to get out of. So that group economics, it can start with just 2 or 3 people. It don't have to be a whole community. It can be like just the 4 of us right here. We can start a LLC or whatever and pull our money together and invest in something and reap the benefits of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You have to get around like-minded people. Get away from these people who just stuck in this rabbit hole, this hamster wheel, saying, "Well, I got the job, I got the house, I'm just saving my money, and I don't want to do nothing else." You got to get away from them people. Them people they ain't no good for this system where we in right now.
I want to point something out. I'm a big fan of law, and I thought we had brushed across child support earlier, and I think I said something about it or something like that. I want y'all take a look at 11 USC 904. 11 USC 904.
If you say it clearly, 9 times out of 10, your man can pull up on the screen.
Yeah. 11 USC 904.
904.
Yup.
All right.
Everything in our society is consent. Everything. If you do not consent, then they can't really do anything to you. I bring that up because the dynamics that we're working under, we got to know stuff like this. This says limitation on the jurisdiction and powers of the court. I'm going to read it. Notwithstanding any power of the court unless the debtor consents or the plan so provides, the court may not, by any stay, order, or decree, in the case or otherwise, interfere with 1. Any of the political or governmental powers of the debtor. 2. Any of the property or revenues of the debtor. 3. Any of the debtor's use of any income producing property. So can they fine you for anything, guys? Can they put you on child support? Can they do any of these things to you without you agreeing?
Nope. But we agree to them all the time.
Yes, sir. So now let's consider how much of this stuff we going along with and giving these people. They get your money for your IUL. They get your money for your trust. They get the money for all of the stuff that you need. They stealing it right out pocket. So this is one of the things I make sure I tell everybody: get involved in the law. What brother's telling you about them IULs, that come out the law. What he's telling you about insurance come out the law. What I'm talking about, these trusts come right out of this law. If you get comfortable, know where you are in the law, it'll work for you. And you'll be surprised how much of this stuff they do is illegal.
So
you'll be surprised.
So how
Go ahead.
how does a brother who's on or getting taken to court for child support, how does he use this to his benefit? Let's say he can't afford a lawyer. He just got this right here, and he
don't need one. He don't need no lawyer. 11 USC 904. It say I ain't got to sign nothing unless I agree. I don't agree.
But what happened when they say they're gonna lock your ass up?
Who? Wait a minute. That's threats, force, coercion, and intimidation. All of them illegal, unlawful. All of them, and they have to pay you at suit in equity. Shit, they asking for a lawsuit then.
But you also, that's why you say that you have to really be knowledgeable
in the law,
because there's a lot of language in the law that simply by not knowing the law, when they're talking to you, you're automatically incriminating yourself by. So
yes,
while you can do it, you got to be well versed, or you need to have evidence to do it. So it's not like Joe Smoke can go and say, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna pay child support." No, that ain't gonna work. You better have a plan together. You better have the knowledge to be able to do that. It takes a lot of study, or have an advisor that can walk you through that.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is, yes, by law, you don't have to, but you can't just read a piece of the law and say, okay, no, I'm not gonna pay child support. I think it's gonna go smoothly for you. No, they are gonna lock you up because you don't know how to carry yourself and how to talk.
Exactly. And this the thing, the dynamic is to never get into these contracts with these people. Because see, they're after your money. Everything is commerce in our society. Everything is commerce. Everything we do is commerce. There's money attached to everything. So we got to remember that that's what's going on. Because I found that most black people, most of the people in the inner city, most people, when they go, black people ain't got nothing, they actually do. Somebody is stealing it before you can get it in your pocket. You actually do have quite a bit. You got access to. You are literally the richest black people on the planet. Black Americans. We the richest black folks on the planet. We just get the money stolen from us before we know what's actually happened. We agreeing to contracts and commerce. And it's really unfortunate because they be taking advantage of people and they know they be doing it. But it's a couple of codes everybody should know. 42 USC 1983. 42 USC 1985, Chapter 3, and 42 USC 1986. Everybody should know them because the biggest part of what they extract from us is through the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Those three will protect you from the criminal justice system in that there's an understanding. Let me go down here. I'm gonna go down on this thing, and I'm gonna kind of pull up what I'm talking about here because it's an understanding. You got to know some things, okay? And you don't know those things until you get into the law. Once you get an understanding of what the law say, it kind of makes sense to you. Brother, did you pull up 42 USC 1985 3? Because that's important. I want everybody to understand where they are and who the law is. So let's go right here. If two or more persons in any state or territory conspire or go on disguise in the highway or on the premises of another for the purpose of depriving, either directly or indirectly, any person or class of persons of the equal protections of the laws or the equal privileges and immunities under the laws, or for the purpose of preventing or hindering the constituted authorities of any state or territory from giving and securing to all persons within such state or territory the equal protections of the law. I want to go back. Conspire or go on disguise on the highway. Who is that?
Cop.
Undercover cop. Unmarked car. Unmarked vehicle.
Any of them, cause they going in disguise. So we got these people. Who is the constituted authorities? It's a constituted authorities. That is the sheriff. So people don't know that when the police get behind them, they're supposed to call the sheriff on the police. That part. Now, let's go down 42 USC 1983. Every person, and this is really important. 1983 is really important. I want everybody to read what that thing says word for word. I need y'all to understand this. That thing says every person who under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage. So now, when you get a speeding ticket, what is that? An ordinance. When you get a parking ticket, what is that? An ordinance, a regulation, a custom. Of any state or territory for the District of Columbia, subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction. So you ain't even got to be a U.S. citizen for this to apply. Thereof, to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws. So where the law come from? The Constitution, not no ordinance, not no regulation, not no statute, not no custom. The Constitution and laws. That's where we have to get. Because once we understand there's a difference between those two, these people can't really do a lot of the things they're doing to you. You ain't going to the jail. You ain't gonna never get the central booking because you're gonna call the sheriff on them. And then you're gonna tell the sheriff 42 USC 1986. That is the action for neglect to prevent. You
got
that act.
up. I got a ticket. I want to get out of based on the shit you saying.
Hey, do they have? Did you commit a crime?
They said
if you committed go ahead.
I think it was the cell phone shit. It was a cell phone ticket.
That's not a crime. That's not a crime. A crime by law is loss or damage or injury to person or property. Who is the person or property or damage? Where's the injury? Where's the loss? Who did you hurt? Nobody. Who is the person who brought the ticket against you? Did you hurt him? No. Then he ain't even got the right to file it.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk. So based on Brandon.
Yep.
Just put it out there. Did I do a good job of linking you up with the right person?
Yeah, he did. He's definitely knowledgeable. The stuff that he's talking about. I knew when you said the trust that it was gonna click very well because I'm not as well versed in trust as him, but I've done my fair share of research on trust and how they flow with foundations, both a 990 and 990 PF. So private family foundations is a huge one. So yeah, these two topics go together so well. It's crazy.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? I mean, look, y'all got two of the finest brains we can find on this topic.
And these are the topics that we have to start speaking on. And basically, I heard something earlier before I got home, which is part of the reason why I'm so happy that these particular two brothers were able to get on this show. The person said that right about now, the way the universe and everything is aligned, when you manifest things now and you do it the right way, it's going to come to you. Being that that's the case, it's time to start manifesting the right things like this. You start putting your all into this, watch what's going to happen without the hesitation, without the doubt and everything like that. Because the sad part about it is most people don't want to get involved in things like this because they don't understand it. If they don't understand it, you have two knowledgeable brothers right now that can help you understand it and can help you get started. Then the next, to me, the next step is you got to put other people on. So in my personal opinion, Arthur and Outlaw, they phones should be going crazy right now with everybody that's watching. It says there's 16 people watching live right now, along with other people who's watching. Y'all need to be hitting them up immediately because it's not about us. It's about your children's children's children. So if that's the case, this is the blueprint to get that shit started.
And one thing I want to reiterate is that with building wealth, you can't be short-sighted. A lot of times our people, we want immediate results. Obviously, now we work in a microwave society where everything is instant. But wealth is not an instantaneous thing. It's something that is built up over many, 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 many years, and it snowballs. And just like a snowball starts with a little piece of snow, as it continues to roll and get bigger, time is on your side, whether you're in the markets, whether you're building wealth, anything. It's not an overnight thing. So that's why when he's talking about the trust, he says you got to plan out so far down the line. You have to have a vision of what you want to look like, but you also have to have the realistic expectations that you're not going to snap your fingers and this is just going to pop up and you're going to be wealthy. These wealthy people didn't pop up overnight and you become wealthy. So the number one thing is to manage your own expectations, but also have access to the information. And once you have access to the information, you have to execute on the information, because what we can do is we as people can get analysis paralysis. We can read stuff for years and never do nothing. Then somebody die and, oh man, you didn't have no type of protection in place. And now your family got to bury you and they got to go into debt, or your debt is passed down or whatever. And the biggest thing that happens to our people and white families is that white families, when they die, their parents get a leg up. When we die, we get shit piled on top of us, and we get knocked down and so forth. Let's say you make all this progress and then you get knocked down, you're moving in the same spot. Whereas when somebody dies in their family, they get a boost and keep going. So that's the thing. We got to put the vehicles in place to be able to get our next generation a boost, be able to protect ourselves now, to be able to eliminate taxes. Every time I hear people cry about how Jeff Bezos pays less taxes, who cares? He understands the tax code. He understands how to operate so he don't have to. But we so busy trying to beat down and cry, oh, he not paying his taxes. No, you ain't got to either if you learn how to operate the right way.
Look, Bezos and Trump do the same thing. Some people you need to hire. It is some people you need on your team. You need an attorney. You need that. If you aren't one, then you need one. And you need an accountant. You need them two people. This ain't what you want to do. This what you need on your team. That's why these people don't pay that money, because they got somebody working with them 12 months out the year. Every month they going in and going, okay, these are our projections. These are our earns. This is what we got coming. This is our tax liability. Let's look at these vehicles to minimize that tax liability while we going through the process. So by the second quarter, they already negated their taxes for the year.
But Brandon and Arthur, but this is what we have been taught to look. What do people look for in January and February? Oh, I got to get my tax return. You look for. I was one of those people too. Hey, I can't wait to get my tax return. Knowing you getting a small percentage of the money that you kicked in. You know that shit don't even make sense now. Now that I know better, but you know before it was like, oh, I can't wait to get my tax return. But it's like, bro, either you break even or you pay as little as possible. That's
right there.
That's the goal right now. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be, oh, I can't wait to get $10,000 at for my tax return.
Because all the tax return means is you overpaid in the beginning, and now they're giving it back
basically.
To you. What's the opportunity
basically
that you overpaid in at the beginning? You could have been investing that or putting that to work for you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So
and didn't get no interest or nothing off of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you just want on a basic level, you definitely need a trust. You definitely need some type of life insurance. I ain't gonna say you gotta do what I tell you to do, and you might not even go with me, but you need to talk to somebody about getting these two things in place. But even if you don't have that, you should at least have an LLC and do a little bit on the LLC to where you can write stuff off.
Or something.
So, I mean, if you really a book that I would recommend everybody read is Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't read it already, it's going to tell you ES, so employee, self-employed, investor, and business owner. Employee and self-employed on the left side of the quadrant, investor and business owner on the right side of the quadrant. The goal is to get from the left side of the quadrant into the right side of the quadrant, because the right side of the quadrant is where all of the tax advantages are. Tax is the number one robber of wealth. And until you learn how to get on the right side, if you just result to being a W-2 employee for the rest of life, you have no tax advantages whatsoever.
None.
So
as a matter of fact,
business or whatever, you need something that you are able to write stuff off against.
I'll put this out there. The largest bill that anybody will pay throughout the course of their life is taxes. It is not your house. It is not your college tuition. It is none of those things. It is taxes. You pay them constantly every year from the time you old enough to do something to the time you leave here. And if you don't set your stuff up right, you're paying when you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I saw some people saying, what were the phone numbers?
I'm working on it.
I just put it up there again. So you got both phone numbers up there. Make sure you reach out. This, that, whatever. I told everybody for the past couple of days, this is going to be a very impactful show. My suggestion, and I'm going to put this out there for everybody. If you got any value at all from what they said, share this video right now. Point blank, period, end of story. If you got any type of value, share this video right now. If you got any type of value, tag somebody who needs to see it. Now, the crazy thing about me saying that is everybody needs to see it. So when you have conversations like this and you got videos out there with somebody shaking their ass or somebody getting knocked out or a goddamn dog or a cat, that goes viral. These are the videos that need to go viral. So that only happens when everybody works together to make sure that can happen. So how many of you are going to share this video? How many of you are going to reach out to Arthur and Outlaw? And the great thing about it is, if I'm not mistaken, Arthur's in Florida and Outlaw is here in the Atlanta area. So that could be a face-to-face meeting depending on what you need to do. I know for me, like I said, I'm getting ready to find this $500 a month. Straight up. I have to, because it's major. The same way I got to find me some motherfucking silver so I can start this trust. It goes hand in hand, so I can go ahead and start and do what I need to do. The question is, how many of you are going to do what you need to do? Because whether you want to believe it or not, certain things are shifting, certain things are changing. You have to be prepared for what's coming. This is a great way to start because, to be honest with you, it's going to be easier to do it with other people rather than doing it by yourself. So if you have a lot of people doing this shit at the same time, y'all can win. Because once shit hits the fan, it's about this that's going to win. If motherfuckers is separated and you by yourself, you ass out, yo. Like you have to think that way. You have to think that way. Group economics is major. It's key. So for all of y'all, I'm begging you, reach out to these brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I love to answer any questions I have. If I don't have the information, I get the information for you. If I'm not the expert in that field, I will refer you to the person. I'm not the guy that knows everything. I know a little bit. I know a lot about little things, but I don't know everything. So I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like I do. So
now I know, Arthur, you came in late, and I'm gonna pose this for both of y'all again. My situation. Right about now, I want to get rid of the car that I have. So if I want to get rid of this car that I have, I would love to have it so me getting another car, I don't own it. I just control it. So how the hell can I make that shit happen amongst other things?
Okay, do the car you have? It's a couple of questions go in there, but if that car you have is paid for, I wouldn't get rid of the car. I would turn it into an asset. I turn it into something that generates asset. Okay, so put it on Turo. Stick you some general liability insurance on it as a business, and put it into a dynamic where it makes money, brings money in. Hire you a driver and lease it out to him so he could drive for Lyft, or drive a dynamic where that car starts to bring money in. If you put it under a company and that car starts to generate money into the account, you can levy against the account that you have that car is generating to get the other car.
Well,
because you're building a transportation business.
No, I was
See, this is what these people do.
No,
well, I'm gonna tell you, this is how these people do it. If you want to buy a car, they take the cars and make those cars into assets so they bring money in. Now they'll start a transportation company. If I want a car, I ain't gonna buy a car. I'm gonna start a transportation company. Now I have all of the accesses, all the dynamics to get a car, use a car, manage and use that car in any means, methods that I can for the purposes of business. Now, if I am acting in that business, in that dynamic, then I'm gonna have to drive that car point A, point B when it comes to utilizing that car for business. If I'm not actively in it, that car needs to be out there making money for me.
No, the reason why I said that because Outlaw knows my situation. Basically,
okay,
I need to get rid of this car so I can get another one.
When did you buy it?
Huh?
When did you buy
it? Like 2 months ago.
Oh wow.
So
it was more than 2 months ago. About maybe 3 months ago.
So here's the deal. You can always trade it. It just depends on what kind of equity position you're in. Did you put any money down? Did you have a trade roll in that one? But you can trade it. It's just what is it worth versus what you owe.
Yep.
You can go trade it right now.
No, but see what I'm saying. That part is the automobile aspect of it. I'm talking about. Is there a way for me to be able to get this other car once I do trade this thing in and it's not in my name and it's in the trust name? That's what I'm saying.
So you can do, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you can have a living trust.
Yes.
And you can tie it into the living trust. Now, if you do an irrevocable trust, so the one thing that's so powerful about trust, depending on how it is they're impenetrable. So if you got an irrevocable trust, a lot of times the lending company is not going to let you do it because they know once it gets in that trust, they can't get to it.
At all. They can't touch it. They can't come back for it. They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. Once it's in an irrevocable, it takes an act of Congress to open it.
Yep.
And they not opening it. So, yeah. This is the thing. If you're talking about car, I wouldn't necessarily put a car into the trust. Because it's a rolling liability. I put that car, it'll be something between the trust and that vehicle. So it'll be an LLC or INC or something in there, and that would own that car. You feel me?
Okay.
Because, you don't want anything with a direct tie to your trust, because your trust must never be put in a situation where it is liable. Never put your trust in a liable. Go ahead.
So in that situation, he can create Jerome Fitz LLC and be done with it.
Yes, sir. Now, I want to say this. When you create your LLC or your INC, I'm gonna put this out there because they don't really tell you about this. This is kind of in the banking codes and it's behind the scenes. But when you start a bank account for a business, the initial deposit for that business bank account follows that company. I don't care where it go. I don't care how long the company is existence. So if you start that company with $500, it looks to your creditors. I don't care if you got $1 million in assets 10 years down the line. It looks like to them you are underfunded. So if you start a company with double digits, it opens up the credit funding doors for that company. You feel me? You go in, put 10,000 in, they'll back your 10,000 with their 10,000, so you're running on 20,000 right from the start. They don't tell you this stuff, but it is actually pretty important because if you want to ever access OPM, other people's money, then you're gonna need to have some good numbers in there, if that makes any sense. But I want to talk to you about something right quick. It's the validation of debt. So you said you got a car and you've had it 2 months. Have you validated the debt on that car yet?
Man, you talking Hebrew to me.
Okay.
Tell that shit.
All
man.
right. Okay. And the reason I would ask, I got something for you to look at right quick. Like it's out of the 15 U.S. codes. Let me scroll down here and I'll give it to you. You can post it up on there so everybody can take a look at it. But yeah, it's out of those U.S. codes as well. Because there are certain things that they have to do when they're acting as a creditor. So it's 15 USC 1692G, as in Gary. 15 USC 1692G.
Say that one more time.
15 USC 1692G, 1692G. They got to follow all their steps. If they ain't following all them steps, they committing fraud. For the vehicle you got right now, if they don't follow all them steps, they commit fraud.
Now, a lot of times, if you got it from a reputable company, they got a lot of attorneys in place that study this stuff too. They're probably gonna have all that language in that contract. Do you have gap insurance?
Nope.
Did you put money down when you bought it?
Nope. I went to the dealership with a $10,000 check from Navy Federal.
So so the vehicle was 10 grand, or it fit in the whole 10 grand on?
Pretty much, like it was like 9992. Yeah.
All right. Your best.
Okay, so
bet,
5 days.
Huh?
Go ahead, brother.
Your best bet, honestly, is probably to put it on tour to try to generate some income. I don't know what it's worth versus what you owe. You could roll that into a new loan, but that's gonna take into account a loan to value, whether or not that new vehicle can carry that much equity or negative equity onto it. So there's a few things that you have to look at, but first off, you need to figure out how much that vehicle is worth versus what you owe on it. And rule of thumb, anytime that you purchase a vehicle and you don't put any money down or roll equity into it, just future reference, get gap insurance if you don't get nothing else.
To be honest with you, fam, the only reason why I didn't get gap insurance was because, Jermaine knows what happened. I literally just lost a car due to that flood up there in New Jersey, and I didn't have gap insurance, and I ended up owing like $2,000. But the car was like $17,000 or something like that. The only reason why I didn't get gap insurance with this particular car is because it was so cheap. You get what I'm saying? I swear to God, that's the only reason why I did. I knew about it, but I was like, I'm not really worried about it, especially for what just happened. I get it. I get exactly what you're saying, but that's the reason why I didn't get it. Moving forward, because I know moving forward, I'm going to get a better car and it's going to be more expensive. Hell yeah, I'm going to get the gap insurance. But I only got it because it's a 2012. It's not really it ain't an expensive car.
Yeah, I get you.
Sound to me like you need to turn that car into a business. That car need to generate some money for you. That's what it sounds like to me. That's going to be the best dynamic for you to get the most out of it, because you already got the money in. And Navy Federal, you know how Navy Federal is. They look, the payment is already in there. Whether you sell it, get rid of it, or do whatever, it's going to be on that side of it. So you already got the vehicle free and clear. So you may as well turn it into an asset, make it generate you some money.
I don't know if I can trust doing that because I got a fucking 6-speed. Y'all know nobody can drive stick no more.
Oh, that means it's wait. Wait. That means it's a sports car.
I mean,
Oh, whoa. That means that's a higher rate to rent.
it's
Oh
a,
yeah, no.
wait a minute, Arthur. It's a 2012 Chevy Sonic.
Is it fixed up? Look, can you flodge in it? Because niggas are renting on the weekend. Don't play now. Can you flodge in it? I'm just saying.
Hey, put it out there. I'll just put it out there and see what happens. Hey, throw the line out there.
Come on, man.
Something bite.
Hey, they buy pine cones, brother.
You have to tell me about this pine cone shit.
Oh, look, go on Rustic Decor. RusticDecor.com or like Etsy.com. These motherfuckers selling pine cones for real. A box of 24 pine cones is like $30, yo. For pine cones. Yeah, that part.
If y'all saw my house, I could be a millionaire fucking around with some fucking pine cones.
Hey,
Bruh, for real. You go out the door and get you a couple of boxes. Really. Get out there in the morning, grab you a couple of boxes before you head out to work. Throw you some pine cones in there, though. Hey, baby, throw them on Etsy right quick like let somebody buy them. We ship them out. They paying the shipping.
Hey, spray paint them motherfuckers all kind of colors. Shit.
Oh, now you're marking them up. You starting to do something to them. Now I'm just talking about raw pine cones they selling. You starting to put some glitter on them, put some rhinestones on. Oh no, not them decorative. They go up in value.
My woman is watching this podcast and she's into things like that. I'm pretty sure she's about to be all over this shit. That right there is about to be a wrap. Now,
Oh yeah.
we kind of wave it off a little bit. We shooting this shit, everybody. This is my thing. I think from the audience, we've had about 3 questions. You literally mean to tell me, with all the knowledge that they spit, y'all ain't asking no questions? You can't say you know about this shit. I know that for a fact. You ain't know about this shit, especially not as in depth as they're going. So y'all need to figure out what you want to do, but you want to get these questions answered. And I mean this for everybody, especially if you have children.
Hey man, look, the platform is here. These guys are here. We ain't begging nobody to get the information. Hey, look, this is what we've been talking about. So, we can lead you to water, but hell, we can't scoop it up and make you damn drink it too. I mean,
yeah. And when you are ready, it'll come to you. You'll start asking the question. You might not understand the value of it now. I don't know if the people in the audience, so. You may not understand the value of it now, but at a certain point you will. Lorene said she
of
did
course.
ask a question. Lorene, I think you asked the question earlier.
She had to put that up there. She crazy.
She don't count. She don't count because she's definitely out there. She's one of our major supporters. And Arthur, like I told you, my girl just said you have to bake the bugs out the pine cones before you paint.
See, she already on it. That part right there. I know that's right, sister. Look, don't be mad. She started bringing them dollars in. Now the monthly started flipping them pine cones doing better than the job. I'm just saying.
Lauren,
So
what's your question?
I know Lorene, she's a main supporter, but she did ask a question. She said, how many life insurance policies are in your family? If you ask me, so I have 3 myself personally. The reason why is that, one, when I started, I wasn't too sure if this worked or not. I just tried it. And so once you get a policy in place, you don't go and add to it and make it bigger. Once you got it, it's set. You got that contract. So when you want to add more, you just start another banking structure, another banking policy. So you can have multiple policies that creates your whole banking system, just like you can have multiple trusts. So that's a great question. I always say start out small, and then from there, once you see how it works, you get comfortable with it, then you can go and you can create another one. You create another one over time, just build up your banking system. Because it's all about how your money flows. When your money flows into you, is it flowing to you into other entities? Or is it flowing through your system, being filtered out to be recaptured and recycled so that you can keep your employees working for you? It's all about how your money flows, honestly.
You mentioned to me, not to me, but you said about the 10 times your age or whatever. So with mentioning, like for me saying $450 a month, you have the option to do it monthly Can you do it quarterly and can you do it yearly?
You can do it monthly. You can do it quarterly. You can do it
annually.
Now, what I like to do with that, if you're gonna do it annually, do it around tax time. Boom. Now the money gonna come every year for you to pay it in. It's done.
Pay your premium for the whole year.
Done.
So
go ahead.
So let's say you're paying monthly and you've been in your whole life insurance policy for 2 years. You've been paying it monthly. Can you then borrow? Is that enough time to borrow a loan against it?
You can borrow funds.
Let's say it's $100,000 policy, and you've been in it for 2 years.
So is it $100,000 face value or is it $100,000 premium?
Face value.
Face value. So when you're looking at it, so when you're structuring it for banking, you're not so much worried about face value. You're not so much worried about death benefit. Yes, those are icings on the cake. You're worried about how much premium can you afford and how much cash value would they get to. And then that death benefit is just going to be a cherry on top.
Right.
So it's based off how much you're putting into it. So I don't know how much premium you're paying in order to get $100,000 face value policy. It's all about how much premium you're paying.
Right.
And you can switch it. So if you start off wanting to pay monthly and then you realize, hey, you know what, I'd rather pay annually, you can switch that's what's called the mode of premium. You can switch that. Now, also, if you do pay it annually, then automatically you have access to those funds versus monthly. You only got access to the monthly portion. So there's a few different, it's a little bit more intricate than just answering that as a one size fit all blanket answer. But somebody asked a question, have you guys discussed using life insurance policies as your bank? Yes, that's what we've been talking about.
Don't even, because like if you notice, Lorraine, she told her and to contact you. So yeah,
I want to add something to what the brother was just saying. So when you're going into these policies, if you do not have a policy already and you're going into a policy, send that first payment with that policy so you covered in underwriting. Because if you don't send that payment, now you got to wait for the underwriting process before you cover. But if you send that payment, they obligate law to cover.
Mm-hmm. He's right. It's getting staticky, but he's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're obligated to cover you from the time that payment gets sent in with your submission for that policy. Just a tip to keep you to make sure you got that coverage going in.
Because
I might actually have to go because I got another room that I got to go do. But I want to make sure that everybody, my contact information out there, guys. I'm here. I do not mind helping you. If I have to do actual work, then we gonna charge. If I don't have to do actual work, then I ain't charging you nothing. By all means, please reach out to me, guys. We want to get families organized and put into a place where they create those generational wealth cycles. And with that being said, I'm gonna bid everybody a good evening because I got another meeting that I'm already late for.
Okay. We appreciate you coming on, Arthur. As always, man, you always welcome.
I think he froze. Yeah, he froze it.
His mic is off. He's out.
It's all good. He had to leave anyway, so it's all good.
But yeah. So if anybody else has any more questions for our run, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, you can call me or text me or email me or whatever. Can I insure the life of all business partners? Yes. So you can. So your business partner, you have an insurable interest in that business partner because that partner is part of your business. A lot of business will do what you call I'm drawing a blank, but basically they purchase insurance on each other. So that if one person were to pass away, they can use that funds to buy out their significant other if they have a stake or whatever, or to hire a new person. It's key man insurance or something like that. So yeah,
I thought did you say something about BOLI?
BOLI is bank on life insurance. So that's the
Okay.
that's the bank's purchasing blocks of insurance at a time.
Well, my man, I can't thank you enough. I'm glad that I still had your number in my phone.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
And it worked out. Whereas us being able to get you and Arthur together, because to me, you two are very, very powerful with the information that y'all have. Like, the shit is scary when you really think about it. It's just about now enacting and putting the action behind it. That's major. That's major for me.
It's all about executing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sent you
Well,
a
I
text.
appreciate that.
I sent you a text, Brandon.
Gotcha. And please just call me out. I don't even go by Brandon, man.
Okay,
just call me
Outlaw.
out. You just said Brandon. I'm like, dang, he killing me, man. But
My
But
bad.
yeah, man, I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to come on and talk. And like I said, if I can help anybody, reach out. I would love to. I'm blowing off the dust on this. I kind of got out of it for me. Not got out of it. I still practicing it myself, but I had some other stuff come up to where I had to focus on business wise. But I'm getting back into it full time. I'm actually about to get out of the auto industry and do it full time with wealth management and financial advising. So if I can be of service to anybody, reach out, let me know.
And just know that if you always welcome to come on. Like, if you want to come on and talk about something, it's all good. I know for me, I'm ready because I caddy or whatever at the golf course in Jersey. Now my mindset is different going up there, like literally, because we talked about the monthly. I'm ready to go ahead and just do the pay that $450 for the year, like,
because I pay all mine. I pay mine all annually. I just get it out the way. Once it's done, cool. I'm done with it, and I can use it. I can leverage the cash value if I want. Sometimes I let the money just sit there. You don't have to do something all the time. You want to wait for it's like a lion hunting for his prey. It's a lot of opportunities to run past that lion to pounce on. That lion waits for the right one to pounce on. So if your money is just sitting in your policy, that's fine. Wait for the right opportunity to come to you, and then you can pounce. The name of the book is Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And Danny, I appreciate the support. I'm glad I was here to help you out. You have my contact information. Feel free to text me, and I will reach back out to you. But yeah, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash.
Yeah, it's like I told you, my man. My homeboy in Florida, in Miami, got my book. Cause I had it. I had two of them. Because, like I said, they're hard to find now. Motherfuckers, they really up on it, and they don't up the price. So
yeah.
But the main thing is we all on the same page now. Fam, I can't thank you enough. We got to. You play golf?
No, I got a back issue, man. Swing that golf club. That's such a start. I want to, but ever since my football industry, I got some nerve damage. It don't pan out well. I can't walk the next day. So I play at it a little bit. I go out on the course in politics for sure. But I can't do it as much as I would like.
I'm gonna text you somebody. As soon as we get off, I'm gonna text you somebody to go see. She gonna stretch you. You good.
Yo, this book on Amazon is $700 paperback.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at. There's no way. No.
Bro, hold on. I'm about to share my screen. Hold up.
Share that. I want to see that.
It's not a game, yo.
That book was like
$40, $50.
Yeah, that book was like $30. Now he did die. I don't know if that, but it's no way.
Use $3.94.
There's something special about that book. There's no way this book is $700. Ain't no way. You can find it on there for cheaper. There's no way this book is $700.
I'm definitely not getting that one. I got
no, you don't want that one.
I got an Audible credit, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the Audible.
Here's why you don't want the Audible. There's a lot of charts in there. There's a lot of visualization that you want to see, so you can follow the numbers.
Oh man, damn it.
Yeah, we don't worry about it.
Try going on eBay. Even if you got to buy it used, try going on eBay.
That's cool. They got the Kindle. I like reading on the Kindle anyway.
That's fine. You get the Kindle, yeah.
But I'm send you Tanya's information, and for everybody out there, yo, we thank you. We thank you for tuning in. We hope that you got something from this. But remember, now is the time to put the action behind it. And then we got to start this group economics aspect of it. We have to, because this is what the elite do. And they do it with the control. We can control our own shit. Like it's amazing when you honestly and truly think about it. So once again, we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We always tell y'all there's no us without you. I'm working on a nice surprise guest next week. I'm just waiting for the response. I don't even want to give y'all the insight. I'm waiting to see how it's gonna play out. And we will most definitely see y'all next week. And as a matter of fact, Brandon, just when we get done, just stay on camera real quick. We're gonna for like 5 minutes. But once I end it.
Okay.
So we'll definitely see y'all next week. And thanks again for tuning in.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Brand. There we go.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.